Hello everyone. Welcome to the training section for EPMA, Electronic Prescribing and Medicine Administration. Myself Anusmita Anthony. I work as an EPMA lead nurse for Norfolk and Norwich University Hospitals. In today's session, you will get a basic understanding about EPMA and how to use the system as a student or pre-registered nurse. The information detailed in this session is applicable for all the student nurses and the pre-reg nurses including NDAs and TNAs. So what does EPMA stands for? Electronic Prescribing and Medicine Administration is an electronic or digital version replacing paper records previously used in healthcare settings. It contains a full record of all the medicine activities including prescribing and administration during an inpatient stay, and the medicine information could be accessed 24/7 from any location. It also includes a summary of all the medicines a patient is taking when discharged, increasing safety for the patients. The system helps to reduce the risk of medication errors, improve ordering and stock control, and it also facilitates increased accuracy in dispensing. It also provides clinicians with 24/7 access to the patient's medication record from anywhere, increasing safety and time efficiency. This saves an estimated 1,000 to 1,500 hours every year across all the wards for medicine administration. Next, we will move on to what does EPMA mean for my job being a nurse or being a student nurse. At its simplest level, EPMA replaces the traditional paper drug chart. Because it is stored on the computer, that means that it can't get lost and you won't have to decipher a prescriber's handwriting again. It does mean that as you go around the ward, you will need a computer to document the administration of medicines. This will be via a computer attached to the drug trolley. Because there is no paper drug chart, when the patient is due to go home, the process of writing the TTO prescription is much faster for the doctor. Next, we will move on to the guidance for medicine administration for the students and the pre-reg nurses. Students are encouraged to be involved in medication rounds as appropriate to the stage of their program and the placement area. Students can actively engage with EPMA, medicines preparation and administration during placement as appropriate. Students must be directly always supervised by registered practitioners. Students must use their own EPMA login when involved in the administration of all medications in order to comply with trust information governance. Now we will see what is the hospital policy for registered staff to administer medications. So first one is the medications that require second signature by registered staff. For example, controlled drugs, intravenous drugs and fluids, intramuscular and subcutaneous drugs. So for administering all these medications, EPMA asks for a second signature by registered staff. So the next one is the medications that doesn't require signature by registered staff. For example, oral drugs, nasal sprays, inhalers, eye drops and topical applications. So these are the two categories of medications according to the hospital medicine policy. So in the first one, for all the controlled drugs, intravenous drugs and fluids, intramuscular and subcutaneous drugs, for administering all these medications, the EPMA system requires a second signature by registered staff. But for all the oral drugs, nasal sprays, inhalers, eye drops and topical applications, it doesn't require a second signature. So we will see what is the student's role in administering all these medications. First, we will see the medications doesn't require a second signature. So in this case, the student or the pre-reg nurse log in to the EPMA using their own credentials. Students can select, prepare, check and administer patient's medication under the direct supervision of a registered practitioner. And the supervising registered practitioner second signs or witnesses each administration made by the student or the pre-reg nurse. So there is a flow chart for your easy understanding. So under the direct supervision of registered practitioner, students log into EPMA and the student selects, prepares, checks and administers drugs in accordance with the policy. Registered practitioner witnesses students' practice and second signs each administration. Finally, the student charts dose in EPMA. So, in short, the students can administer all the oral drugs, nasal sprays, inhalers, eye drops, and topical applications using their own EPMA credentials under the direct supervision of a registered staff. So, next we will move on to the medications that require a second signature. As per the hospital medicine policy, controlled drugs, intravenous drugs or fluids, intramuscular and subcutaneous drugs require a second signature for registered staff. Two registered practitioners are present at all the times during the selection, preparation and checking process of these medications. So, we will see what is the student's role. So, first step, a registered practitioner signs into EPMA. Students may be involved in the selection, preparation and checking process, but their actions must be directly supervised by two registered practitioners. The student is effectively a third participant in the process. Participation is recorded by adding a note, student nurse, midwife or pre-reg participation. The registered practitioners will administer the required medication or fluids and the second registered practitioner will second sign the administration in EPMA. Students can be involved in setting the pump or drip rates under direct supervision of the two registered practitioners. So, all the students need to make sure you are logging out of EPMA before participating in the administration of all these medications, that is the IV drugs, intramuscular and subcutaneous drugs or CDs. Next, we will move on to information governance. So, what is information governance? IG is a framework for handling personal information in a confidential and secure manner. It is about how to manage and share information or data appropriately. It also includes understanding on how to treat information about patients and if and when you should share that information with others who are involved in that care. So, according to the Computer Misuse Act of 1990 and Data Protection Act of 2018, national legislation requires that access to confidential information is authorized and unique to each user and traceable to individuals. Trust, IG and confidentiality requirements mean that access to EPMA is governed by the following rules. Student access will be issued after EPMA training has been completed. Until issued with login credentials, students must not access EPMA. Students must only use their own EPMA username and password when accessing EPMA and engaging in medication administration. EPMA usernames and passwords must not be shared or used by any other person under any circumstances. All EPMA users must log out of EPMA system when the computer is left unattended. Next, we will move on to two software limitations or two areas where the students will not be prevented from performing certain tasks. So, the EPMA student account is designed to build in safeguards to prevent students from performing tasks that are not within their scope of practice. However, due to software limitations, there are two areas where the students will not be prevented from performing tasks that are outside their scope of practice. So, the first software limitation is the non-administration reasons. EPMA software does not require a second signature when the students chart non-administration reasons. Decisions to omit medication must be made in conjunction with a registered practitioner and recorded under their direct supervision. The second one is the medications require second signature by registered staff as per hospital medicine's policy. As we discussed before, so all the medications that require a second signature are IV drugs and fluids, intramuscular and subcutaneous drugs, and the CDs. So the student login cannot be configured to prevent students from administering medications requiring second signature. Students are basically not allowed to administer or sign for these medications and must log out of EPMA prior to participating in preparation of these medications. These medications must be signed for by two registered practitioners in EPMA. Next, we will see something called as MAS or EPMA Medicines Administration Schedule. For EPMA purposes, a charting or medicine administration schedule or a MAS period runs from 3 a.m. in the morning to 2:59 a.m. the following day. All the administrations within the given MAS period must be complete before the system moves to the next MAS period. This is intended as a safety feature to prevent missed doses. MAS is specific to each ward area within the EPMA. If there is any outstanding administration from the previous MAS period, the current medications won't be available to give via administration tab. So we will see how you can do the training for the EPMA. All the staff members can access the e-learning via their ESR or electronic staff record. The e-learning will take you up to 90 minutes to complete. The EPMA team does not receive automatic notification when you complete this course and take assessment. Please ensure that on completion of this e-learning, you forward a copy, screenshot or photograph of your assessment certificate to the relevant email address, that is for JPUH or NNUH. Staff without an ESR could email the EPMA team for a direct link to the training. Students or learners or the pre-reg nurses to state their current status while sending the certificate. Your login details will only send to you once we have seen the certificate. The username and password will be sent to the email address that you provided when completing the assessment, usually within 72 hours. EPMA support team contact details. For NNUH EPMA support, for general questions about EPMA, please email epma@nnuh.nhs.uk. For non-urgent password request, please email epma@nnuh.nhs.uk with the subject line password reset and include your EPMA username. For urgent questions, only please contact 01603 289407 or extension 5407 5408. Out of hours, you can contact on-call pharmacist via switchboard. For JPUH EPMA support, call the main pharmacy for EPMA support on 01493 452387. Email epmaproject at jpaget.nhs.uk. Thank you so much for your time. Hope you all got a better understanding about EPMA and how to use the system being a student nurse.